Hello guys, I heartily welcome you to our second part of Git and Gitlab tutorials for beginners series. In the previous video, we got to know that what is Git, its features and its applications. We now have also looked into GitLab and the difference between GitLab and GitHub. So, in this video, we will be speaking about installation of Git, its configuration using command line interface. Then, we will look into some important terminal commands of Linux. And as the main part, we will be focusing on the working of Git. So let's get started right away. I am Abhiram BJ, speaker of Glue, which is one of the FOSS community. Do like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest updates. Before you start using Git, you have to make it available on your computer. Even if it is already installed, it is probably a good idea to update it to the latest version. And most importantly, before installing any package to your system, it is necessary to update the system by using the command sudo apt update for the Debian based system or use sudo dnf update if it is a Fedora based system. Now coming to the installation of Git, if you want to install the basic Git tools on Linux via a binary installer, you can generally do so through a package management tool that comes with your distribution. If you are on Fedora, you can use sudo dnf install git-all. If you are on Debian based systems such as Ubuntu, you can use sudo apt install get-all. Use the most suitable ones for your distribution. If you encounter any errors during the installation, feel free to contact us in the comment section. We will reach you out as soon as possible with the best solution. After installing, you can check the version of the Git that is installed by using git-version in the command line, that is terminal. After installing Git in your system, the first thing you should do is to set your username and user email. This is also known as author name and author email. This is important because every Git commit uses this information when you start creating new commits. And you need to know that you have to do it only once. If you pass -- global option, then Git will always use that information for anything you do on that system. So here, let's set up the username and user email. This is done by using git config -- global user.name. In double quotes, you enter your username. Please enter the username that you gave while creation of the Gitlab account. Next, let's set the user email. This is done by using the command git config -- global user.email. Please use the email ID that you used during the creation of Gitlab account. Now, both username and email has been configured. If you want to override this with a different name or email address for specific projects, you can run the same commands but without using the -- global option. You can also check the username and user email that the Git is presently using for commits by running the command git config user.name to know the username, git config user.email to know the user email. As you may be wondering, why is running this command within your Git repo directory is important. If you are outside of a Git repository, these commands gives you the value of username and user email at a global level. When you make a commit, the associated username is read at local level. So now we got to know about configuring the Git. But before going towards the working of Git, we will look into some basic Linux terminal commands, that is also the git bash commands, which is one of the Git tools. Firstly, cd. This command is used to change the directory from present working directory to the given new directory. As an example, here we are at home directory. We will change our location to desktop. This can be done by using the command cd space desktop. Now, the present directory after using cd is desktop. Next command is ls. This command is used to list all the subdirectories and files that are residing inside the present working directory. Here, we use ls to view the contents of the desktop directory. These are the subdirectories and files that are in desktop. Next, we will use the command mkdir. This command is used to create a new empty directory. Here, as an example, we will create a new directory named git inside the desktop directory. To do this, we use mkdir space git. Now, a new directory named git is created. If the directory with the same name exists, then it prompts us that the directory with the same name already exists. Next, we will see what is rmdir. This command is used to remove the empty directory. So, now we have an empty directory named git in the desktop. We will try to remove it by using the command rmdir space git. This successfully removes the empty directory named git. Now, if we use ls, then there is no listing of a directory named git in the terminal. Next command is touch. This is used to create a file in the current directory. Here we use this command to create two new files named index.html and style.css. To do this, we give touch space index.html space style.css. Now the new files named index.html and style.css is created in desktop. Now we shall start writing the contents into these files. You can use an editor for doing this. Here I will be using gedit as beginners find easy with this. To open index.html in the gedit, we use command gedit space index.html. This prompts to open the file index.html in the gedit and can start writing the contents into it. Now, as we have looked into the basic commands, these will be used in further sections when we will be doing new commits to our repository through command line interface. Now, let's move forward and get to know the main part of this video, that is working of Git. As a prerequisite, we shall look into some major terms that are used in Git. In Git, we have several terms. One among the terms is the repository, which acts as the root of every action you do. Repository is like a data structure used by the version control system to store the metadata for a set of files and directories. It contains the collection of files as well as history of changes made to those files. Repository in Git is considered as your project folder, which has all the project related data. Different projects have different repositories. You can obtain a repository in two ways. The first way is to create a local repository and make it as a Git repository. The second way is to clone a remote repository that already exists on a server. So now, if you want to share your project on a version control system and control it with Git, then move to your project's directory and start the Git command line here. To initialize a repository, we run the command git space init. This will create a new subdirectory named .git that holds all the necessary repository files. This subdirectory can be considered as a Git repository skeleton as it controls and tracks your progress and logs in it. Next, we will look into the tree structure of Git repository. This creates the hierarchy between files in a Git repository. You can use the Git tree object to create the relationship between directories and files they contain. Here, as an example, we have our project folder as my project, which is used as the repository name that you are committing changes with. If we give the command ls to list the contents that resides within it, we get the files that we are pushing to our repository. Along with it, we have a subdirectory named .git which says my project is a repository, which is in root level, and so it tracks the progress of the subfolders and files that are in the folder my project. Here, if suppose we place the .git in the image folder that contains the logo.php and cat.png, it only tracks the progress of the files that resides within the image folder and not the files in the my project folder. Till this point, we have only initialized our Git repository. But what if we do some modifications in the files that are present in the my project folder? Git do not save any changes by default. We have to instruct the Git what has to be done and what has to be saved. To do this, we use the term called commits. Commit is considered as a snapshot of your project where a new version of the project is created in the current repository. Using the command git commit, you can save all the staged changes along with its brief description from the user in a commit to local repository along with it. It generates a commit ID for future references. You can see the advantages of commit as it allows you to recall the committed changes at a later date or revert the project to the particular version. If multiple commits edit different parts of the object, they do not get overwritten by each other, so that it helps you to collaborate with different authors for the same project. Now, moving on to the next section, let's know the three important stages of commit with an example of a tree structure that we used previously. Coming to the first stage, that is modified. So, as we know, under Git, we can create a repository, and inside this, we can write code and maintain it. Once the code is written, anyone who is willing to make some modification can make those changes in their own remote repository. Here, a remote repository is a local copy of the original project that is created in your local machine being maintained via Git. So, basically you can make changes to your copy of the original project, that is here to my project, without touching the original version of the project within your remote system. This is what modification is. Next, coming to the second stage, that is staged area. So, we saw that we can make changes to the project without altering the original version. But how do we apply those changes to our remote repository? For that, we use git add, which tracks the new changes and pushes it to the staging area. Here, staging area is a place prior to actual implementation of the changes that you will be doing in the future. So, all the new files are first pushed to the staging area where all new files are placed that are finally ready to be joined to the remote repository. Now, coming to the final stage, that is commit. As previously discussed, a commit is a set of new files that are being added to a project as a part of modification. Each commit represents the changes made to the project in the past with the details about the time, at what time the commit was made, along with the author of the code. So finally, when you make a commit and it gets committed, then this simply means that you have successfully applied a certain modification to the code. So this was all about the working of Git. That's it for this part of this series. In the next video, we will look into creation of our own repository for a project and various actions that you can make on Git. Do like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest updates. And don't forget to press the bell icon given below. Thank you guys, happy exploring, let's meet in the next video.